Hi everyone, Ryan here from Fight Game Analysis, and today we're going to be talking about the upcoming fight between Jarizinho Rozenstruik and Ciryl Gane. If you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and click on the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. Alright, so we got a big fight coming up here in the heavyweight division. Jarizinho Rozenstruik versus Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane he's kind of a new guy coming out of the scene, only had a few fights in the UFC. And he is creating a lot of buzz. He's creating a lot of hype because he comes out and he looks good, man. And then you've got Rozenstruik, on the other hand, who ridiculous power, known for just some of those bone-crushing shots that he's landed. But his career's been a little up and down. He's got some losses on there, but he is always dangerous. Let's start off. We'll take a look at Ciryl Gane. Now, I like him, man. He comes from a striking background. Two-time national Muay Thai champion in France before he came over to MMA. And you can see that that's his bread and butter once he comes over. He is a striker, and he is a good striker. He is technical. He is slick. He's light on his feet. He moves around really well. He uses combinations good. I like the way he transitions between offense and defense. He'll stand in. He'll be on the outside. He'll land a couple kicks. He'll come in, close the distance, land a shot or two, and then catch and counter. So while he's there, he'll wait. He'll catch one of his opponent's shots, then counter one of his own. He's really good at it. One of the other things that he does that I like is he controls distance with his kicks. A lot of times you'll see guys talk about controlling distance with their feet in the sense of moving in and out. Stay all the way out, maintain middle distance, get all the way in. Whatever it is that they want to do, whatever their game plan is, they'll use their feet to control distance. Other times you'll see guys control the distance with the jab, right? That's what they'll use to set up all of their other shots. That's what they'll help maintain where they want to be relative to their opponent. But Gane goes a different route. It's one that we don't see quite as much. He controls the distance with his kicks. And what I mean by that is he's all the way out to the point where his kicks won't even land. And then he'll get into kicking range and land his kicks. And he'll also, at that point, he'll use those kicks to set up getting in even closer and landing the punches that he wants to land. It's a really good style. He's got some really good technique. I like the way he does a lot of those things. On top of all that, he's progressing his game. He is moving forward. Even though he comes into MMA and with a striking game that I believe is well developed enough that he could blow through a lot of this earlier competition, only using his striking, continue to make waves, continue to build publicity, get the hype going, and continue to move up the ranks. Now, the problem with that is that once you get to that elite level competition, if you don't have a well-rounded game, you're going to lose. It's not going to pan out for you being a one-dimensional fighter at the very highest levels. And you see a lot of fighters kind of take that route. But what we see from Gane is a little bit different. Early on in his career, even though he's still able to blow through these guys with his striking, we see him working on his grappling. We see him working on his wrestling. We've seen him utilize a few really well-timed takedowns. We've seen him get submissions. I like what the guy brings to the table, particularly for the heavyweight division. I like how light he is on his feet and how much he moves. It's a nice change of pace that you typically don't see from guys that big. Flip that on the other side, we've got Rozenstruik. First thing you think of when you see this guy is just the power. You look back at his highlights, you think about his fight with Overeem, where he just blew his lip up. I mean, the man's a beast. He hits hard. He also comes from a striking background. He was a professional kickboxer, had something like 76 wins with 67 knockouts, which doesn't surprise me at all, seeing the power that he's shown since he's been over in the UFC. But he's got some flaws to his game. Even his striking game, even though you think he was coming from a kickboxing background, it'd be a little bit different. Number one is I don't like the way he controls the distance. I was just mentioning the way Gane controls the distance using his feet. I don't like the way Rozenstruik controls the distance because I feel as though he really doesn't. He doesn't control it with his jab. He doesn't control it with his kicks. He doesn't control it with his feet. When he gets into the range that he wants to get into, he'll throw his shots. But it's his opponents that really dictate where the fight is taking place. On top of that, his work rate is just way too low. Now, you can turn around and make the argument that when you've got ridiculous power like he does, that you don't need a high work rate. Yeah, I get it. But then you also have to acknowledge that the fight can't go to a decision. If you're going to have a low work rate, if you're going to allow your opponent to come out there and outland you, outstrike you, outwork you, then you have to end every fight before it goes to the judges, or you are highly susceptible to being on the wrong side of that decision. And that's what I feel like Rozenstruik is with his striking output. His work rate is just low, especially compared to a guy like Gane, who he's going to be matching up against in this one. Gane loves to come out there. He's throwing the kicks. He's working a lot. That means a lot in the judge's eyes. That means a lot. Sometimes even if you land one big strike, but you've been getting outworked for minutes, it won't be enough to make that up when it comes to scoring that round. And then, of course, on top of all that, we know that he's got a huge glaring hole in his game when it comes to the ground. He gets put on his back, and he's a fish out of water at that point. He kind of really doesn't know what to do all that much. He's just there. And as I mentioned when I was talking about Gane a little bit, he will utilize takedowns. He is a big, strong guy. He is quick on his feet. He knows how to come in and close the distance. He can utilize the takedown offensively, closing him, getting him back up against the cage, and then dropping down and trying to get one. He can utilize it defensively if Rozenstruik is coming in too much, in too fast. I mean, it's not like Gane is some, D1 collegiate wrestler. He's not up here competing with Daniel Cormier or anything crazy like that, but he's better than Rozenstruik is when it comes to that. So that is definitely going to play a role in this fight. So when we take all that in consideration, the question is, what's it going to look like when these two step in the octagon with each other on Saturday night? I think this one's going to Ciryl Gane. I do. I think it's going to be another decent name on his resume. I think he's going to continue to move up the ranks. I think between his work rate, his speed, his variety of strikes, the way he can fight better on the outside with his kicks to maintain the distance, a few well-timed takedowns that he's going to utilize in this fight. Land a little bit of ground and pound when he gets out there. Possibly even get Rozenstruik in a compromised position where he could not get the submission, but at least threaten with it to look good in the judge's eyes. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he did all of that. The one thing that I'm slightly concerned with is the fact that this is a 5-round fight. Obviously, we haven't seen Gane go 5 rounds. We don't know what his cardio will be. That being said, I certainly don't expect Rozenstruik to push him. He doesn't have a work rate at all, so it's not like he's going to test him, apply pressure and apply this heat, get Gane uncomfortable and have him get winded in the 4th and 5th rounds, anything like that. I expect Gane to be comfortable. He's going to train for it. He's going to be able to dictate the pace. He's going to be able to dictate where the fight happens, when the fight happens. I don't really see a guy getting winded in that type of a situation. So I don't think the cardio, or even the potential cardio, because all I've said is we haven't seen him go 5 rounds. His cardio may be great. We don't know. But I don't even think it'll be an issue. I don't even think that there's the potential of that coming up with the way that he's going to be able to dictate the fight. Rozenstruik may land a punch here or there. He absolutely 1,000% always has a puncher's chance right up until the final second. Everybody knows that. We've seen the type of power that he's put on display before. But whether this fight's standing up or whether this fight goes to the ground, I think Gane's going to have the advantage. I think he's going to come out with the victory here, and I think he'll look pretty good doing it. Let me know what you guys think. Is this going to be a victory for Ciryl Gane? And if it is, what's next for him? Or is Rozenstruik kind of derailed the hype train a little bit and get a victory of his own? Let me know what you guys think.